Accused persons have denied charges leveled against them in court today. The 10 face charges that include abuse of office, money laundering, failure to follow procurement laws, amongst others. According to the EACC, the case involves the procurement of a 588 million shilling tender for the upgrading of various gravel roads to bituminous surface in Kiambu County, awarded to Testimony Enterprises Limited. The governor and his wife are accused of allegedly receiving 51.2 million shillings proceeds of the irregular tender awarded to Testimony Enterprises Limited for the roadworks. The defence has asked that the accused be released on bond since they have proven that they are not at flight risk. Let's listen in.
And 26. The Honorable Judge took into account the decision by her sister. And in her view, the wider public interest issue was not considered in the earlier decision. So that, Your Honor, even if you are to bar him from accessing his office, that would not be in violation of the Constitution, and that issue is dealt with by the learned judge at paragraph 59. This is what the learned judge says. I believe that there will be no vacuum in the county. I take judicial notice of the fact that there have been circumstances in the past which county governors have, and for reasons of ill health, been out of office, and given the fact that the Constitution provides for a seat of a deputy governor, counties have continued to function. It fortifies the submission by my learned friend Mr. Muteti that the county government of Kiambu will continue to run and function. The deputy governor is not a lame duck. Lastly, Your Honor, look at the charges that the accused persons are facing. In our view, these are very serious charges. Which touch on public funds. So that the argument in count 5 that it only relates to willful failure, that willful failure, Your Honor, led to loss of colossal amounts of money.
Your Honor, I think that was the point of the party. That is the correct statement. No funds have been lost. This is a charge relating to the
in our view,
process.
In our view. Yes. Yes, Your Honor. May I continue, Your Honor? Yes, you'll have the time to respond. Yes, Mr. Mbiu here. Yes, I'm responding to, in fact, submissions of Mr. Mbiu.
I'm protecting Mr. Mbiu.
He does not need protection.
It doesn't need protection. You'd have said so. He's here. Yes. Yes.
I only submitted, Your Honor, that they are charged with one count, that is count 5.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. And I said, yes, I did not say that there is loss of funds.
You
Yes,
said
for
there's
them,
none.
they are not said to have received any money, which is a fact. If you read the count, for them, they have not been said to have received any cash or transacted with any money, Your Honor, as I submitted. Yes. That for them, they have not been said to have received any money in that account or transacted with any money.
Evidence. Yes. Yes.
That is what I said, Your Honor.
Precisely, Your Honor. So their acts were prejudicial and therefore, Your Honor, in our view, they are serious. Further, Your Honor, there are charges relating to money laundering, and this I submit in reply to the submissions by my learned friend, Mr. Swaka. I think this is where I believe it's the testimony. Your Honor, it is our submission that these are very, very serious offenses, money laundering. And we cannot be told because they are husband and wife, you treat them with leniency. Yes. The law treats them as individuals. If they were involved, then, my Lord, that would make very good mitigating factors.
And I'll be getting more details from the court from my colleague Brenda Wanga later on. Now, meeting between the Senate Public Accounts and Investments Committee, the Auditor General and the Controller of Budget is underway to probe pending bills. According to the bodies, there are concerns over the bills and there are fears county heads could be inflating the figures to defraud the public. Our reporter Kennedy Mureithi is attending the meeting and now joins us live with more details. A very good afternoon to you, Kennedy. What more details can you tell us from this meeting?
A very good afternoon to you, Zainab, and what you've actually said there is very true, and that forms the gist of what the committee is actually investigating at this particular time with regards to how county heads could be colluding to actually inflate these figures, the pending bills, because there is a case in point that was being given by the Controller of Budget, who was part of this meeting, and she was saying that in the financial year 2015-2016, the outstanding pending bills as at that time were 37 billion shillings. But when they came back the next year, that is in the 2017-2018 financial year, the outstanding bills had gone up to 108 billion shillings. And this necessitated a wider meeting that involved most of these players to actually look at this matter, because there's a feeling that it is either the counties, when they come to be auditing these bills, they're either inflating for their own financial benefit, or there is a matter that is actually not being looked into. Because even in the committee, as the senators are trying to interrogate this matter, because it is the control of budget and the Auditor General who are in this particular meeting, they are saying that there are so many different figures that are coming from the same audit that is being done differently. According to the controller of budget, there was a meeting that had given the counties the ability to audit the pending bills themselves, and they gave a figure. But when another meeting had been held between the counties through the IBEC, that is Intergovernmental Budget Committee, and another matter that had been also held by the president, there was the need for an independent audit to be done on these particular counties, and that is where the Auditor General came in. When the Auditor General came in, there is another figure that was given, and that is where the Senate is getting a confusion. And it has been a matter that has been featuring when counties, through the executive that is being led by the governors, are appearing at this particular committee. They have been insisting that the pending bills have been so many, and they have really hampered the productivity of counties and their workings. And this matter, according to those bodies that have been here, there are different figures that are being given, and these different figures, that is where the mischief is coming in. And that is why the senators are saying that even though the control of budget has been able to contract the services of the Auditor General in coming up with figures, some of these figures could still not be true. And that is why this Senate committee now wants the Auditor General to come back and probably give evidence as to how they carried out this particular audit. I remember in one of those, the senator for Kirinyaga, that is Senator Kibero, says when the governor came at this particular committee, she was able to give audit or the pending bill stood at about 253 million shillings. Yet when she was able to have a chat or give a report to the Auditor General, it shot to 1 billion shillings. And at this particular committee, he is a bit worried that the governors are not being truthful with the report that they are giving in. So they want the Auditor General to come back with this information with regards to how they were able to conduct this audit and be able to give out this full report. Remember, in one of the public holidays, that is on Mashujaa Day, President Uhuru Kenyatta was able to say that a certain amount of money needed to be released to counties so that they could pay the pending bills that are there. So, but this question probably, what is being investigated right now is that collusion and the mischief that could be coming from the counties. We have also seen other counties, that probably Nairobi County, that has also been mentioned, with having 64 billion shillings spending, and the county, this Senate committee is of the opinion that that is too high. And when the Auditor General was about to actually did an audit, so that the numbers went down to as little as 23 billion shillings. And this matter has also been able to be verified by the governor, who has in essence said that this matter has been so serious that there was a serious collusion between some county officials and those who needed to be paid. So this matter is being investigated, and probably they will be coming back within a period of 7 to 14 days to give their report on how they were able to do it. Nairobi County was able to agree with what the Auditor General did, and they say that they have been always saying that they are looking into this matter. It is also a matter that came in when the governor appeared before this committee. So it is a matter that we'll be looking into, and we'll be giving details as and when we do receive them more as they come. Back to you, Zainab, in studio.
All right, thank you so much, Kennedy. Now, an American museum based in Denver has returned artifacts belonging to the Mijikenda community. The wooden symbols, locally known as vigango, represent dead family members and serve as a link between living relatives and their departed loved ones. The artifacts will be restored back to the community, where a spiritual ceremony will be done. Kevin Mutai joins us live from the Fort Jesus for the details. Kevin?
Well, thank you so much, Zainab. We are live from Fort Jesus in Mombasa, and here it's a milestone for the Mijikenda community after receiving these 30 pieces of vigango. It's a valuable cultural artifact for them, and they say that the move by the Denver Museum in the United States, that in the state of Colorado, to return these particular artifacts is another achievement for the community to reconnect back to their loved ones who departed a long time ago. ago, we are told that this particular artifacts represent a Guho, that is a spiritual leader in the Mijikenda community. And indeed, we are also informed that these are 30 pieces and 29 others are lying at the international airport, that is Jomo Kenyatta, waiting to be brought back to the coast and delivered to the owners. Those are the Mijikenda people. Let me quickly engage one of the proprietors of this facility to just quickly take us through what value do these particular artifacts have in the Mijikenda community. Just tell me, what does this move mean for the Mijikenda people?
Well, they mean quite a lot because they represent the central spirits of elders who were initiated into the Gohu society. And when you talk about Gohu, we are talking about the traditional leadership in terms of religion, in terms of the politics of the communities. There are people who are being consulted, but you have to be initiated into the Gohu society. So when they pass on, then that is a time when now they can be able to install a Kigango in respect of those who have departed. So basically what we are seeing here is actually the spirits of those who departed and initiated the Gohu society as leaders, traditional leaders, both politically and at the same time spiritually. Yes.
But is this particular culture being still practiced currently within the Mijikenda people?
Very much being practiced, and the people you are seeing behind me are actually representing the Gohu. They have been initiated, and they're the ones who actually make these things on behalf of the communities. Yes.
And now that they are in the hands of the National Museums of Kenya, are we looking forward to perhaps maybe you people in charge tracing back to having these particular artifacts go to the respective families that they were taken from?
Well, perhaps maybe not to the families per se, because we do not know which family they came from, but we are giving them back to the communities. So in that way, we feel that they are closer to where they are coming from, rather than being in the United States of America.
And perhaps this urge for money in terms of people stealing our cultural artifacts and selling them to make money, what message do you think the government should bring forward to ensure that all the cultural artifacts remain within our communities here in the country?
I think there should be a policy which is supposed to be developed by the government so that artifacts like these ones, which have got spiritual values, very sensitive spiritual value, because they represent spirits of people here. So the issue is that there should be awareness creation and also informing the customs people that if they see things like this one, they should actually know these are very sensitive spiritual artifacts and that they should not be taken out of this country. But also another policy that we are suggesting is actually to get these vigangos off the shelves of curios, because you find some curios in Mombasa and Nairobi having vigangos on their shelves. So I think there's a need for us to develop a policy to restrict or to stop that kind of the sale of artifacts, so to speak. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Zainab. That was Philip Katana, the archaeologist with the National Museums of Kenya, just taking us through how important these particular artifacts are or mean for the Mijikenda community, and they feel that it's a milestone that indeed they're looking forward to other countries who also own such kind of artifacts should follow suit and bring them back to their respective communities. The Minister for Sports, Culture and Heritage, Amina Mohammed, was here and officiated this particular handover of the artifacts, and we will be following on what will be transpiring. Of course, we'll be talking to these Mijikenda, the Kayas and the Council of Elders to understand exactly more, and we will be able to tell our viewers more about this particular event that happened today here in Mombasa. Back to you, Zainab.
Right, indeed, a milestone. Thank you so much, Kevin. Now, Environment Cabinet Secretary Keriako Tobiko has challenged the Kenya Water Towers Agency to ensure they meet the 10% global minimum recommended forest cover by 2022. The government is also set to start the second phase of the Mau forest evictions, where about 60,000 squatters will be affected. Tobiko also said the conservation will support the Big Four agenda, especially food security, through regulating climate change for improved food production.
Our rains are no longer predictable, as it happened in the last rain season. The drought, more severe, more prolonged, more intense, and the consequences. The temperatures, even in places such as Nairobi is a Pasai name. Naibu will tell you, Nairobi in our language means place of cold water. Used to be a very cold place. Nairobi is no longer a cold place. Nairobi now is a hot place. We call it now Nairobi, as it's a hot place, and that applies across the country. That applies across the region. That absolutely the globe. Heat waves. The sea levels have risen. The waters, the oceans, and the seas, and the lakes are heating up, causing serious devastation to marine and aquatic life, and seriously jeopardizing the blue economy.
Well, the former Kerio Valley Development Authority Managing Director David Kimosop has been charged in court over the 63 billion shillings Kimwarere and Aror Dam scandal. He is among the 9 suspects that had yet to be arraigned after last week's arrest and charging of more than 10 suspects, including former National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich and ex-Principal Secretary Kamal Thuge. Kimosop was arrested on Friday morning at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport as he returned to the country from Kinshasa from the Democratic Republic of Congo through Tanzania. The suspects are being charged with multiple counts, including abuse of office, conspiracy to commit an economic crime, among other charges. From that, residents of Wajir South say they will not take part in the national census beginning the night of the 24th of August if the government fails to upgrade Habaswein a town status. NTV's Nurdin El-Moge reports from Wajir.
As the country prepares for the national census on the night of 24th of next month, residents of Habaswein are already threatening to boycott the count. The residents have taken issue with the recently concluded mapping exercise by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, which they say had carved out about 5,000 households into the neighboring Wajir West constituency.
Bureau of Statistics wametudhulumu kwa sababu wamesema Habaswein Central ambaye chief yake ni mtu wa Wajir South. Nyumba ya ofisi enyewe ya chifu iko katika Wajir South. Na wenyeji wanaishi kule ni wa Wajir South. Wamesema wamehesabiwa kama watu wa Wajir West.
Watu wanasema census hivi mpaka serikali atutoe hiyo nini maneno, hata hatuwezi kubali mtu nakuja kufanya sisi hesabu, hatuwezi kubali.
The elders led street protests to demand a review of the mapping.
We are contemplating of taking that issue to court, and even we will take the Kenya Bureau of Standards to court.
Habaswein Assistant Sub-County Commissioner calmed the protesters as he pleaded that the country's security committee will address their concerns.
Tumeweza kusikia yale mambo ambayo mumezungumuza na malalamishi yenu yamefika katika ofisi, na tunahakikisha kwamba itafuatiliwa. Kila kitu ambayo mumeweka hapa ndani tutakaa chini kama security team ya Habaswein na tutazungumza na Kenya National Bureau of Statistics.
Wajir South is the second largest constituency in the country after North Horn. Leaders have been calling on the government to split the constituency into 2. Nurdin El-Moge, NTV, Wajir County.
Now, top student in the 2016 KCPE exams from Uasin Gishu County may not realize her dream of becoming a teacher. The student, Evelyn Anyoso, dropped out of school last term due to lack of school fees. And as Gabriel Kadaka reports, the girl is now forced to accompany her mother in search of casual jobs in order to earn an income and hopefully save some money for her fees.
A mother-daughter tag team working to earn their daily bread, which sometimes has proved hard to get by. Evelyn Anyoso should be in school with her colleagues, but due to lack of school fees, she and her mother are in Mwanzo Estate in Eldoret washing clothes for some of their clients.
Si ati ni mimi mwenyewe nilikataa kwenda shule. My colleagues being in school and me being at home inaniuma kwa sababu kuna wenye wako shule but hawataki, lakini mimi nataka na si uko shule.
Evelyn was among the top students in Uasin Gishu County in the 2016 KCPE examination, a glory that has over the years faded. They say the depth of the financial challenges sank when Evelyn's father began to drown in drunkenness.
Baada ya kazi kuisha akakuja akaingilia ulevi, akawa tu mlevi. Sasa akifika tukimitisha pesa anasema ana. Sasa hiyo harakati akakuwa mlevi kabisa hadi akatuacha.
On a good day, they earn about 600 shillings, an amount not even enough to sustain the whole family.
Lakini saa zingine unaweza pata siku imekuwa mbaya, inabidi hata unapata hata hakuna yenye nimepata. Unapata labda mtu ameniita nifulie nafua alafu ananiambia ndakuona baadaye.
Their job involves moving from one house to the other in search of clients, and sometimes they are not as lucky. After a day's hustle, Evelyn gets time to do some reading as well as assisting her siblings in their homework. Evelyn is still optimistic of going back to school to pursue her dream of becoming a teacher or a journalist. That is, if a well-wisher will come to her rescue. Gabriel Kudaka, NTV.
Indeed, Gabriel, and thanks so much for that report. Now, Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha is currently meeting the Editors Guild in a Nairobi hotel. Let's cross over live there to listen in.
The equipment, the laboratory, what do you call this stuff? The computers working. And the problem was that the server was too small. And we are addressing that issue. With regard to how we are going to continue training teachers who are in service, we have a cloud which has been tested. I would have launched it much earlier, but since I don't trust anybody, I have now confirmed that it is working and we shall launch it anytime now. That cloud, the tablets that they have been loaded with the material that is required for the CBC. Are we together? So, and there are modules where teachers can learn themselves through that phenomenon. You will also ask me, what about the far-flungs like the Northeastern Province and what have you? And we are engaging with other stakeholders to find out if we can create networks there that will help us to beam those to them. See, you are talking about resources. First of all, let's talk about financial resources. The government of the Republic of Kenya is very capable. Look at me, do I look like I have not eaten? The government is very capable. And since, by the grace of God, I found myself being the driver, the money that we get, if in case you are not aware, we already get about 35% of the national budget. My job now is to ensure that that money is applied for the purpose that it was meant. And I want to assure the country that I will do that to the best of my ability. For example, when I asked for 500 million, I got it in under 2 weeks. I think there is another 500 million we are getting for August. When I asked for 700 million for the books that were not given earlier, the money is already available. Who has told you there is no money? There's money. It is how we manage it. And I can assure you I have no teeth. I shall make sure that that money is used for the purpose. It is good for us to remember that the government budgets on a 12-month cycle. So do not bog me down with things which will come in the next financial year. Let us deal with this financial year. And this financial year, with regards, for example, to infrastructure at primary schools, we have 300 million. My job is going to be to ensure that this 300 million
is applied to the areas that it is needed most. We also have
Education Cabinet Secretary there, Professor George Magoha, of course, meeting the Editors Guild and briefing them on the education reforms. Now, in other stories making headlines across our boundaries, an attack this weekend by Boko Haram fighters on a funeral in northeast Nigeria has left 65 people dead, almost triple the initial toll. That is according to a local official. Now, dozens more bodies were discovered following the Saturday assault by gunmen on a village close to the regional capital, Maiduguri. The leader of a local anti-Boko Haram militia confirmed the death toll. Boko Haram fighters have repeatedly attacked the surrounding Ngazai district. In September last year, the group killed 8 people and stole livestock in 2 villages in the area after residents tried to stop them from taking their animals. Boko Haram has waged a decade-long campaign of violence in northeast Nigeria that has killed around 27,000 people and displaced more than 2 million.
During the burial, they attacked them at the graveyard. Immediately they killed 21. So later, when the people, the remaining people heard about it, then they went after them. They still killed them. That makes the total up to 65.
Definitely, we are just coming here and then we are going back home so that we have we shall have a security meeting.
Well, quite unfortunate. But at this point, let's now take a look at stories making headlines in the world of sports with Ida Waringa.
Thanks a lot for that, Zainab. Quite unfortunate indeed. Let's get into the world of sport, hopefully with some more positive news happening within our local boundaries here, where the national men's basketball team arrived back in the country early this morning from Bamako, Mali, where they finished second in the inaugural edition of the FIBA Afro-Chan Championship. Kenya Morans lost 82-61 to their Congolese opponents in the final, and DR Congo won the first quarter 29-18 before Kenya won the second 19-7. DRC was eventually victorious in the third and fourth quarters 29-10 and 17-14 respectively. Kenya's Tyler Ongwae Okari was the best scorer with 21 points, one ahead of Maxi Shamba of the DRC. Now on their way to the final, Kenya beat Tunisia, Nigeria, Morocco and Ivory Coast. The principal secretary of sports, Peter Kaberia, was part of the team that welcomed them back at JKIA.
Although Congo walikuwa better than us, but tulijikakamua, tulicheza hard, but at the end of the day they were better than us. Yeah.
Nini hasa mmesoma kule katika mashindano yote?
Watu wamegain new experience, next games itakuwa poa, so hiyo experience tu waone watu kwa nje venye wanacheza nini na nini hivyo ya.
We did a lot of preparation with our team. We started preparations a bit early. The team was happy. They were having fun. That is the major reason why they won. They had no pressure to win. We were just doing the small things right. The second thing we wanted to do was to bring back basketball where it's supposed to be.
We are so happy. We thank God for everything. Yeah, we worked, we planned. I knew it was coming. We anticipated this. We worked for it. And I thank the youngsters. They are very receptive, they are well disciplined. It has paid off.
Nchi yetu saizi inaendelea kutia fora katika michezo tofauti tofauti. Ukiangalia upande wa vikapu, upande wa kadada, upande wa farasi saizi, upande wa kama ni mbio za magari, ukienda upande wa ndondi, ukienda upande wa raga. Wiki iliyopita wale chipu waliibuka kuwa namba 6 dunia nzima kule Brazil.
We are planning also to set aside some money for 4 other stadiums in phase 2. That will be Mukuru kwa Jenga, Dagoreti, Mihango and Tena. Tuko na gymnasium ya basketball, tuko na netball, volleyball na swimming pool. Nadhani Nairobi will never be the same again.
The Kenya Morans, they are doing so much with so little. Let's support the team through the good and even through the bad. Let's move on to the defending champions Butali Sugar Warriors, who bounced back to winning ways in the Hockey Premier League after edging out hosts Western Jaguars 1-0. That was in Kakamega. The win saw Butali maintain their unbeaten run and go 4 points clear at the helm of the men's league with 18 points from 8 rounds of matches. Jaguars have played 9 matches and are fourth with 13 points, while Butali will play Parklands next. I do beg your pardon. In other men's games, Strathmore saw off USIU Africa 3-0, while Park Road beat Wazalendo 2-0. Meanwhile, Nakuru edged Vikings 1-0 and Strathmore University beat Kenyatta University 2-0 in the Women's Super League at City Park. International football now, where Benfica maintained their 100% record in the International Champions Cup after edging AC Milan 1-0 in Massachusetts to move top of the table. Adel Tarabat's deflected effort against his former side proved to be the difference in an entertaining contest in Massachusetts that provided the Serie A side with their first real test of the preseason. While the result leaves Milan bottom without a point after 2 games, while Benfica...
To nothing but the best in news, conversation starters and hard-hitting interviews that keep you informed for the day ahead.
Up and early, 6 on the nose, these people don't sleep. Fix first the data protection law, then we come up with the number.
Exactly my question to CS Joe Mushero.
Welcome to Living With Us. I'm your host, Sharon Mundia. Boy, have you missed out.
Stop your wheel, game done.
Thank you for joining us on NTV today.
We have our reporters in different locations.
NTV is right here to bring you everything from the beginning to the end.
Hii ni NTV Sasa.
Kuna mambo mengi sana ambayo yanafanyika.
Sasa ni kumtuliza. Hii inaitwa sensory integration.
Shughuli pevu ya kudunda viwanjani narejea kwake
na kurudisha hapa studioni. Kuna mengi ambayo yanaendelea katika maeneo tofauti.
Tunavyoelewa wanasema nini? Vimeundwa.
NTV in the morning. All you need to know to start your day.
Ilizae kama ajalema.
Serikali leta dawa gani?
Changed the club a bit, of course. I think his influence was really big on Barcelona. So I think because of that, the connection between Holland and Barcelona is as good as it is.
Well, we do wrap things up on sports. On that note, I'll be back at 9 p.m. Do have yourself a good afternoon. It's back to Zainab.
All right, thank you so much, Aida. We'll definitely be watching out for more stories that you'll be lining up for us. Well, that's a wrap for us at NTV at 1. Thank you so much for watching our developing stories. We'll be bringing you in more details in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Zainab Ismail. Good afternoon.
This is NTV.